welcome back to another Ruby Fairy something. Jesus. Welcome back to another fanfiction reading, or another part of the fanfiction reading of The Huntress of Fairy Tale. Wow, my mind is exploding right now. So yesterday, which was June 10th, even though this is probably like, a month or two ago by now, by the time this is uploaded, I realized that in the first episode I had said that there was a reason why I was so anxious for this fanfiction in particular and why this was so important. I didn't say it because I completely forgot by the end of the video, and then I completely forgot for all the rest of them. So why is this so important? Well, as far as I know, I didn't say it. That'd kind of suck, being like, hey, I didn't say anything, and then it's like, oh, I did actually. I don't know. It doesn't really matter anyways. You probably need to be told again. Is that after this is over, or after this one in particular is over, I will end up doing videos on fairy tale fanfiction as well. This is where this starts. And the interesting thing is it'll it'll come with all of the general fairy tale tropes and whatever. So it's gonna be a little bit different from most of the RWBY stuff. So, oh boy. Anyways, last time, Yang beat who she was fighting. Now that we're 2 minutes in the video. Anyways. Chapter 6, Huntresses versus Nightwing. Blake slowly got back to her feet after the full force of Kono's attack. Well, can you feel it? Kono questioned. This is an S-Class Wizard's magical energy. This is an S-Class Wizard's power. Kono and Blake crossed swords again, but Kono getting the better of the exchange. And this, my friend, is an S-Class Wizard's. Kono and Blake's blades crossed again, with Kono's inching closer to Blake. Blade. Kono lowered his sword and slashed Blake's shoulder. Kono started to rapidly thrust his sword towards Blake, with Blake blocking each attack but continues to get pushed back. What's the matter? Come on! Blake blocked Kono's last attack, but the force of it pushed her back several feet. Blake quickly rebounded and charged towards Kono. Kono smirked and pushed Blake away with his sword, sending her crashing into one of the trees behind her. Blake got out of the smoke and charged again. Kono widened his eyes when he saw Blake aiming towards his legs. He jumped in the air, avoiding his feet with a smirk as he slashed Blake's back. Kono stuck his hand out and a light blue magic circle opened up. Gale Force. Cannon Day Precision? Or Pression. I don't even... Why? I don't know. Or Canon de Pression. Something like that. I don't know why you decided to do some... That's kind of weird. Anyways... Actually, it's a Gale Force. Canon de Pression. Sorry, that was stupid. Anyways, Blake quickly jumped out of the way as a large amount of pressurized air was shot towards her like a cannon. It's useless. Blake widens her eyes as she started to dodge a barrage of balls. Oh boy. Made from pressurized air that was being fired at her. I wonder how long you will last. Blake continued to dodge Kono's attack. Do you like it? Those were my balas de what language is that? Like, that's not... It's like almost Spanish, but not Spanish. But it's like not Portuguese either. Or French or Italian. Well, I actually don't fully know, but it's still just like... It's like almost Spanish, but not. Like, I mean, all the Romance languages are similar, but, like, they're not, like, that similar. I don't know, it's really stupid. Anyways. It literally just means air ball. It's really stupid. I don't understand why he's now suddenly, like, speaking Spanish or whatever for some reason. Like, just randomly. Anyways. Blake glared at Kono, trying to catch her breath. I'm a little tired, if you don't mind me saying. Kono walked towards Blake. Kono walked towards Blake and raised his sword over his head. Don't you think it's time for you to get serious? Blake disappeared from Kono's sight. Kono smirked as the Faunus appeared behind him and he grabbed her arm. Blake gritted her teeth in frustration as Kono looked at her. Look at you, you're exhausted. Are you sure that you'll be okay? In a battle between equals, you wouldn't one of them to be so worn out. You're missing a word! Kono used some of his strength and threw Blake in front of him. A magic circle opened up and fired an air ball at the Faunus, creating an explosion when it hit her. Blake landed on her feet before falling to a knee. She got back to both of her feet, still breathing heavily from exhaustion. Something's not right here, she thought. Its attacks are getting stronger and stronger, but how? Unless, well, okay, this is pointless. Flashback to about 5 minutes ago or less. This story is so stupid. Like I was like one of the things that I was like so worried about for this is that it would be like a terrible introduction into me doing fairy tale fanfiction readings. And yeah, it could be worse, honestly, but it's not exactly like that amazing. Like it's not that great. 'Cause it's just like I don't know. Like this whole flashback is completely pointless because one, it's from 5 minutes ago, and two, like how is attacks getting stronger? Because again, it was 5 minutes, and the characters in RWBY have been shown to be smart tacticians, especially Blake. So why would this be the case at all whatsoever? Anyways, metal bands his arms, so I'll fight at the level of an S-class wizard. Blake narrowed her eyes as Kono as he charged towards her again. Kono pointed his blade at lowest metal band on his arm and cut the band off. He charged towards Blake. He charged twice in a row. Good. He charged towards Blake and swung his sword at her. Blake blocked the attack as Kono went past her. Blake widens her eyes, noticing the difference between this attack and his last one. Did his attack just get stronger? The cat faunus thought. Kono smirked as he cut off another metal band on his arm. He turned around and rushed towards Blake. They crossed blades and Blake started to get pushed back a little, feeling Kono's power still continuing to increase. That was, I believe, in the last chapter right before we went to Yang. Because you haven't been going to Weiss and RWBY for a while, and it's just like, okay. You can't juggle 5 perspectives without going to some of them. Because again, we still have to deal with like the whole like I just talked about. Anyways. Blake narrowed her eyes, figuring out how Kono's strength continued to increase. What's the look? Kono questioned, looking at the faunus. Those bands on your arms, they're some sort of limiters, aren't they? Blake said. I've noticed when you cut off one of them, the strength you put in your attack increases. At first, I wondered why you showed me the metal band when you declared that you'll fight with the strength of an S-class wizard, but now I know. I mean, I guess, I guess going into the world of fairy tales made them, like, worse. Like, it's made them just more stupid in general. Because, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that happens in fairy tale all the time. Like, having just monologues in the middle of battles and stuff like that, and where it's just like, oh my god, seriously. Kono smirked and said, "So you were paying attention. You're correct. And a little slow. The metal bands I had on were a special weight that limits my magic energy I use in battle. Which, I mean, why even have those on at all? But, figure it out. Really? But don't think it'll give some sort of an advantage. Right now, Kono fired another air ball at Blake, hitting her directly. Then Blake slowly started to fade away. What? Kono felt something slash his back. He turned around and saw Blake behind him with his blood dripping from her blade. It's true that my strength won't able. Oh my god. Won't be able to match as it is now, Blake said, but I'm far from helpless. I will defeat you one way or another. Oh, good. Change perspective. Say when the flashback happens, but don't say when the perspective changes. Pour back at Weiss, finally. Kotori put her hand close to her mouth and blew out a cloud of snow and ice at Weiss. Jumped out of the way, but one of her legs was caught and started to freeze. She fell to the ground, looking at the ice covering her leg. Weiss narrowed her eyes as she broke. What's wrong? Kotori taunted, getting Weiss's attention. You look like you got a lot on your mind, or maybe it's the realization finally Maybe it's the realization finally started to set in. That's not correct grammar again. What are you talking about? Weiss said. I'm talking about the realization that you and your friends can't win. You could feel it, can't you? You can feel fell? That says fell. You can feel that we're overwhelming you compared to our power. You're completely helpless. Wow. Ice dragons waxing fang. Why? Alright, I'll just ignore it. Weiss quickly jumped out of the way of Kotori's attack and charged towards the Dragon Slayer. Charging towards me again? Not a smart move, but I won't give you the chance to regret that decision. Ice Dragon's Roar! Nice one. Nice one. Weiss widened her eyes as she stopped and jumped out of the way of Kotori's blast. To your little weapon. I won't let you anywhere close to me. Oh, sure. Weiss narrowed her eyes, thinking of another form of attack. The dial on Master turned and stopped at the blue crystal. Weiss fired icy projectiles at the Dragon Slayer. My, that's no ordinary rapier, isn't it? But is that all you got? Far from it, Weiss shouted, creating a glyph below Kotori. At incredible speed, a column of ice shot out of the ground as Kotori. Now she's trying to be creative, Kotori thought as she jumped out of the way of another ice column coming out of the ground. The dial turned toward a red crystal as with a whipping motion. The Weiss lanced a line of fire towards Kotori. Right, that's some straight up like RPG stuff. Where just a line of like fire geysers just shoot out of the ground as it like moves in a certain direction. Some straight up RPG stuff, or like MMO, like MMORPG stuff. I just said RPG stuff, and then MMO stuff, and then MMORPG stuff. Jesus. I can be so stupid sometimes. Anyways. Where was I going? Okay. The Dragon Slayer smirked as she jumped away from the fire. She looked up and saw Weiss using a glyph to stand on the blade, or on the side of one of her ice columns. The blade turned cyan. she think that is going to work? Oh boy. Weiss let out a battle cry as she went past Katori, shattering her ice scales. No way, she broke through the scales? Katori thought in shock. Weiss landed gracefully on her feet as Katori fell to the ground. Katori looked up at Weiss with a murderous glare on her face. Alright, yep. Changing perspective again, because that's a way to end that one. RWBY skidded on the ground after dodging another of Emmy's soundwave attacks. Emmy looked over at the red-hooded girl with a smirk on her face. You're very jumpy, she said. I've noticed that you're starting to move a little faster than when we started. But how long do you plan to keep this up? I'm done playing this little game of cat and mouse. RWBY gritted her teeth as she turned Crescent Rose to its sniper rifle form and fired a round of bullets at Emmy. Emmy closed her eyes and sighed. Alright, wow. I'm getting cocky. Sound wall. With Crescent Rose in its scythe form, RWBY slashed Emmy with her scythe, but Emmy started to fade. What the? RWBY thought as she felt something hit her in the back again. She turned around to face the wizard, but she wasn't there. Look behind you, Emmy said, getting RWBY? What? RWBY turned towards Emmy and charged towards her. Before she could attack, something tripped her up and made her fall to the ground. RWBY looked at what caused her to trip and saw Emmy. Did you like my little trick? Didn't it look like I was in two places at once? I call them my twin acceleration. I've used my speed and sound magic to create a that you're attacking me. I can appear from anything around you. You won't know it. What? I can appear from anything around you won't know it. Ugh. Let's test it out, shall we? Emmy disappeared again as RWBY got back to her feet, trying to find the wizard. Okay, where would she attack from? RWBY said, looking around for Emmy. Then RWBY felt something hit her in the back. Behind. RWBY looked behind her shoulder and hit something hit her right hip. What the From the right, she turned to the right and something hit her back. To the left, she turned to the left and felt something hitting her back again. Idiot! Oh my god. It's useless. My speed can't be tracked by the human eye. Now take this. Twin Excel. Sound palms. 4 magic circles open up around RWBY and... The grammar's getting worse! Like, I mean, like, you can get a free trial of grammar. That's gonna sound really weird, but I mean, you can use Grammarly for free. I mean, it doesn't have all the functions, but you can at least try. And of course, just always Microsoft Word or Google Docs. They do pretty good at spell. Words is kind of a problem, but I mean, Microsoft Word can help with Microsoft Word's pretty good. I need to stop doing unsponsored product plugs. Or not really product, whatever. This is what I do, just plugging software. It's so much better. So much better than plugging a product. Just plugging a software or game or something. So much better. Anyways. Again, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Let's just move along. Creating an explosion. Emmy appeared in front of the smoke with a smirk on her face. Now do you see? They're one man that can match speed, but from the... What? But from the look of things, I may have surpassed even him. What? What are you talking about? The smoke cleared and revealed RWBY still on her feet, but showing the damage that Emmy's attacks did on her. No way, she withstood all of that and is still standing? I don't care how fast you are, Ruby said. I don't care how strong you are. I will defeat you. So until this battle is done, I won't fall until one of us is down for good. Since I took probably like 7 minutes longer to read that than I really should have, um, you know, we're at 20 minutes. Oh, come on. Man, don't you just love solitaire? Okay. How long is this? I don't think it's that long. We'll do chapter 7 before we end this up. Okay, chapter 7, Yang Fire. Okay, apparently Yang is not, or apparently Suzuki's not gone yet. Yang and Suzuki charged towards each other, yelling a fierce cry. They threw a punch at each other, hitting each other over... What? Hitting each other in the face. The force of their punches sends both take forever at this rate. She's stronger than I gave what I... She's stronger than I gave her credit for, Suzuki thought, glaring at Yang. If this battle continues at the rate it's going, we'll take ourselves out from exhaustion. In that case, I know just the thing that will end this. Yang fired a barrage of gauntlets at Suzuki, who easily dodged them. Suzuki charged charged forwards, maybe, throwing a punch at Yang. Yang quickly dodged the punch and gave Suzuki a round kick to the... Round kick? Alright. Round kick to the gut, pushing her back. Yang then fired a blast from her Ember Celica at Suzuki, creating an explosion. Now you're done. Tempest Fang. Yang punched Suzuki in the face, and the wizard soon felt the force of 10 punches from the Huntress. Did that do it? Yang thought. Suzuki stumbled back and fell to her knees as she changed back to her original form. Yang charged towards the wizard to finish her off. You fell for it, Suzuki said with a smirk. Yang looked at the wizard, confused as a figure appeared behind Yang and fired a blast at her, causing an explosion and sending her into some wooden crates. The smoke cleared and revealed Yang's attacker. What the... Yang said, getting to her feet. Who the hell did that? Yang winds her eyes when she looked at her attacker. It looks exactly like her. Do you like it? Yang asked with a smirk and in Suzuki's voice. Yang narrowed her eyes to the wizard. I'm surprised I haven't used this before. Her voice started to change and sounded like Yang. My mimic magic doesn't only copy my opponent's attacks and appearance. It also lets me make a copy of their appearance. What? But that's what you just said. To the very last detail. Now I don't lift a finger. My new friend will finish the job for me. Oh, also lets me make a copy of their appearance as well, so you're making a copy of that person, not just their appearance. Stupid! Make the sentence make sense. Suzuki's clone slowly walked towards Yang. So let's see if your little theory to quicken. Is the original better than its copy? Yang dashed towards Yang and threw a punch at her. Yang caught the punch and threw one of her own, which was caught by Suzuki's clone. Okay, you're on, Yang shouted as her eyes turned red and her hair started to glow. Didn't it already do that? I don't know, I think it might have already done that. Yang smirked as she used Suzuki's mimic magic to copy what Yang just did. They jumped back a few feet and charged towards each other, throwing a punch at each other again. Their fists connected, sending a shockwave to each other and pushing both Yangs into the walls behind them. Both Yangs slowly got back to their feet, glaring at each other. Yang let out a fierce cry as she charged towards Suzuki's clone of her. Yang charged towards Yang, and the two locked hands trying to push the other back. They broke away from each other, trying to catch their breath. Yang charged towards Suzuki, punching her in the gut. Suzuki returned with an uppercut to Yang's jaw. Yang kicks Suzuki in the face as she returns with a knee to Yang's gut. Both girls gave each other a right hook to the face, pushing each other back a few feet. They charged towards each other again, ready to strike again. Oh my god. Yang threw it. Jesus. Yeah. Oh god. Yang threw her jab and punched Yang in the face. Yang fell to the ground and skidded back several feet from. I hate this. Suzuki's clone grunted in pain as she slowly got back to her feet. Yang threw a punch at the clone, but the clone caught it. Ember Celica Infinity Fang, Yang shouted, punched in the original in the gut. What? I hate this so much. This is so terrible. Yang winds her eyes as pain coursed throughout her body as she got struck by a train, or as if she got struck by a train. The force of the attack pushed Yang back and sends her through several crates and a wall. Wow, how many walls have they broken by now? Yang tried to get back to her feet, but the damage she took from the attack wouldn't let her. Well, what you do? What? Suzuki said smugly. I guess the original isn't all that after all. She looked at her version of Yang. Finish her off. It'll be one less Huntress in this world. Mistress Ito will be pleased. Yang walked towards the fallen brawler and prepared to deliver the finishing blow. Yang closed her eyes, waiting for the blow, but it never came. Instead, she heard a sound of the punch hitting a piece of metal. She looked. Do you think? A familiar voice rang in Yang's ears. She looked up and saw Urza standing over her. Urza, Yang said weakly. Sorry I couldn't make it here sooner, Urza said to Yang. She looked back at Suzuki and saw the guild emblem on her body. It appears that my theory was correct. What are you talking about? What theory? I'll give you the details later. Right now, you and your friends are in danger. You have been targeted by her guild, the Nightwing. Right now, your friends are battling her other members. Oh, God. Yang's eyes widened at the idea of her sister being in danger. Damn, Suzuki cursed, looking at Urza. The last thing I want is someone from the Fairy Tale Guild interfering. Well, it doesn't matter. It's not like it'll make a bit of difference anyway. Once I'm through with the Titania Owl, then a gold circle opened up underneath Yang and engulfs her in golden flames. Suzuki widens her eyes as Yang slowly got back to her feet. She couldn't move and fear filled her body. What the hell is this? She slowly started to back away from Yang. Those flames, Urza thought, looking at the flames that engulfed Yang. Is that? Yang looked down at her hands as the flames disappeared. She balled her fists as they were engulfed in the golden flames. I don't know what just happened, but I like it. Suzuki's clone threw a punch at Yang with Ember Celica, but it met by Yang's flaming fist and shattered into pieces. Yang punched the clone with the flame-covered fist, and the clone disappeared. She broke my magic, Suzuki thought in shock, watching her clone of Yang disappear after being defeated by Yang's magic-imbued punch. Ember Celica, Burning Fang. That was a great voice right there. Yang shouted, punching Suzuki in the gut with flaming fist. Flaming fist, maybe? Suzuki yelled in pain as the golden flames engulfed her body as she was sent crashing through a wall. The flame died down and revealed Suzuki lying on the ground unconscious. I told you, the copy is nothing compared to the original. Yang's eyes got heavy, and as her body went limp from the unconscious form of Yang with a small smile on her face. Okay. So, next time we will start with Chapter 8. What? I don't know how that... What? I guess I did do 2... Okay, I got really confused for a second there. Anyways, next time we'll do Chapter 8 and probably Chapter 9. And, yeah, after... Yeah, okay. We'll just move along and, stick around for those fairy tale fanfictions will be coming in the future. So that'll be interesting.